Big story to tell you about at this hour, everyone. The Trump attorneys are not having it. Letitia James, you see, came out as soon as Donald Trump won. She came out even before Kamala Harris conceded and just wanted everybody to know in her very furious way that, you know what, she's not giving up. She's still going after him, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, you know, maybe she missed this map. I'm just, you know, the map really suggests that America's not with her on that. Maybe she doesn't really understand how this all works, but maybe she's just completely self-interested and wants to continue for her own political reasons, trying to push this narrative. I mean, we're seeing that, right, from some people. We're seeing it from some people, including none other than Eric Swalwell out in California. But here's Mike Davis. He's the attorney, one of the attorneys for Donald Trump. He was on with my friend Benny yesterday, and close your ears because he's got some choice words.
Let me just say this to Big Tish James, the New York Attorney General. I dare you to try to continue your lawfare against President Trump in his second term, because listen here, sweetheart, we're not messing around this time, and we will put your fat ass in prison for conspiracy against rights. And I promise you that. So think long and hard before you want to violate President Trump's constitutional rights or any other American's constitutional rights. It's not going to happen again.
We've been warning people on the show, Mike, this isn't the same Trump administration. Stop messing around. Don't rig elections. Don't illegally vote. Don't try the funny business. Because
so in other words, there is a new sheriff in town, and this time he's back, and he's back sort of with a vengeance, if you would. In that, he's seen the rodeo before. And to Mike Davis's point, like they're playing for keeps at this point. So not to say like there's going to be, I'm not talking like The View in that sense, but they're playing for keeps in that they're not going to put up with the nonsense. I mean, it looks like they get the House, they get the Senate, they get the Oval Office. Heck, they even have a lot of the governor positions. So given this groundswell, given the momentum, given that the public is with them, are you really going to stand in the way of that? I mean, Letitia James, for goodness sakes, you were the one going after him when there was no actual victim, trying to claim that there was a crime. I mean, it's being decided as we speak in the appellate court. And the judges were like, let's be very clear to the attorney representing Letitia James' side of things. You guys have no case.
May it please the court, Judith Vale for the New York Attorney General's office. All of the defendants repeatedly violated...
Ms. Vale, can you identify any previous case in which the Attorney General sued under Executive Law 6312 to upset a private business transaction that was between equally sophisticated partners, where the supposed victim had the ability and legal obligation to discover the allegedly misrepresented matters by conducting its own due diligence, where the supposed wrongdoer advised the supposed victim through written disclaimers to conduct its own due diligence and to draw its own conclusions, where the alleged misrepresentation almost entirely concerned inherently subjective valuations of properties and businesses.
Yes.
And where the victim never complained about any fraud in the transactional losses from it. Because I've gone through the cases which you've cited, and all of them always involved the consumer protection aspect. It involved protection of the market.
Several responses.
And I want to add to his question, and little to no impact on the public marketplace.
Okay, that's the big whopper, okay? And that is specifically why there was never any case here to begin with. It was a decision that was made between a bank and the person they were lending money to. Okay, so therefore it's the bank's problem. And the bank was happy. The bank was like, hey, we made money. Donald Trump was happy. There was no victim in this crime. So what was Letitia James doing? Oh, we know what this woman was doing. She was being the selfish, awful politician that she is. And now we have to guard against this because these people are vindictive. They are out for one thing only, to get Trump, and therefore somehow further their political career. It's why Eric Swalwell was out there tweeting this, not going quietly, you're not either. Let's get loud, let's get going. I mean, you know, they accused Donald Trump of being anti-American. That sounds kind of anti-American myself. This is Letitia James when she was campaigning last time.
I've taken on powerful interests like developers. I've taken on legislators. I've taken on landlords. I've taken on powerful interests in the city of New York because I believe in a good fight. And right now, what we need is someone who understands that you should not be afraid, not be fearful of Donald Trump. We should take him down. We should sue him all the way to bankruptcy. We should investigate his business interests. We should investigate his business holdings. We should investigate whether or not why he was once in debt and now in a position to purchase all of this property. We can do that because I've been trained to do that, and I will do that at the same time knowing the Office of Attorney General and its powers and its responsibilities and its duties. My name is Letitia James, and I plan on being the next Attorney General of the state of New York. God bless you and thank you.
Okay, so she's trying to get your money. She wants you to be out there voting for her, and now she's trying to position herself as the next mayor of New York. Well, let me tell you, I think that ship has sailed. I want to point one thing out. All right, she's out there, and I'm going to show you some of the sound from her getting out in front of all this. But I just want to say one thing. You know what? Donald Trump has a big heart. He could have gone after Hillary Clinton. He didn't. And he was asked about this by Howie Kurtz over on Fox before the election. Are you going to really go for retribution? And he made it clear, like, he doesn't want to bother with that. That's what they did to him, right?
I think they're unethical, but who knows?
I want to drill down on this question of retribution because against your political opponents, because you've had opportunities to walk that back. And my question is this: are you prepared to say now that you will not use law enforcement to punish or prosecute your political opponents?
Excuse me. That's what they're using on me.
Okay, so your experience is that they started
before you start this.
Yeah, I got it.
Howie, that's what they're using on me. I've got DAs. I've got everybody. They look at me. There's never been anything like this. The biggest case was the one down in Florida, and I beat it 100%. I won the case because we had number one, a brilliant judge, and a judge that moved rather rapidly, and I won the case. By the way, Biden had almost the same case, but he didn't have the Presidential Records Act because he wasn't the president. Just to finish. And he got off on the basis that he's incompetent, essentially that he's incompetent. And it was a strange ruling because they said, number one, he's incompetent, so he's not going to be, but the prosecutor actually said he's guilty, but he's incompetent. But they didn't say he couldn't be president anymore. That was his bigger problem for not being president. How can you not represent yourself in court because you're incompetent, but you're allowed to represent the United States of America? The whole thing is crazy. But no, they have weaponized government against me.
But are you willing to use the same tactics?
No, I don't want to do that because that's a bad thing for the country. I don't want to do that.
It
I don't
is.
know who said
It's a bad thing for the country. So Letitia, lay off. Instead, we had to hear from her again before Kamala even came out. Maybe she's trying to say, I can do this. I can do this on a national scale. Let me be your next Kamala because I'm going to go after Trump. Been there, done there, over it. That's why Mike Davis is trying to give you a warning here, lady. Get over it. Move to stage left. Even more left than you are, but maybe just off the stage. Here we go.
And lastly, I congratulate the President-elect Donald Trump. And if possible, we will work with his administration.
If possible.
But we will not compromise our values or our integrity or our principles. We did not expect this result, but we are prepared to respond to this result. And my office has been preparing for several months because we've been here before.
And she just loves wasting your taxpayer dollars.
We faced this challenge before. And we used the rule of law to fight back.
No, not really. You tried to bankrupt the guy. You tried to bankrupt him, Letitia. You and Judge Merchan with the nearly $500 million, $500 million fine for doing nothing wrong, not even having a crime. I mean, this is crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Letitia went on to say that she was very proud of the hundreds of cases that they brought against the Trump administration.
So as you can see, we know their playbook. We know Project 2025 before it was even published. And we have been working both in my office and with other Democratic AGs across this country to make sure that we would be ready to respond to any attempt to roll back our rights.
Really? Okay, so what are you going to do about the mayor in New York City who just made a major announcement? Letitia James, how's that going to fold into your plans? Oh, wait a second. You wanted his job. Remember that? And it looked like you were going to get it because, you see, he was kind of on the wrong side of things. He kind of made the point that New York City couldn't afford to keep taking migrants, and that put him into a rather dangerous spot.